intrinsically, biologically, maybe men and women gravitate towards different things.
I always think I need.
Sorry, go for it.
Do you acknowledge that sometimes the gender pay gap is because you can't legislate mindsets, and sometimes a woman does go in there and she's very disagreeable, but because of some misogyny, sometimes a man decides, I'm not going to give you.
Anything's possible. I'm not going to say it can't exist.
You. That's the best you'll do. You won't say that it does happen. You'll say it can happen.
We're talking about feminism, which is like an interesting idea, and I think it's bigger than what we bring to the table when we are having conversations about it. But it might be interesting. I always think it's important to define terms if you're talking about it, because otherwise you might be talking about two very different things and arguing when there's no argument to be.
That's why I have to be.
So when we're talking about feminism, what's your understanding of it?
I'm looking more so on the attributes, elevating someone's gender as well. Like, for example, Sarah, you said about feminism being, I don't need no man. I don't see feminism as that. I feel
third and fourth wave are. First and second wave
feminism should be elevating someone's, or the gender, like for equality. I feel like that's
talking about elevating women.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's one of the things that we get confused about, because first and second wave feminism was about equality. It was about it was about rights to vote. Yeah. It was about being paid the same.
Yeah.
That was first and second wave feminism.
Right.
The third and the fourth wave came when it was like, actually, I bought all my stuff and I don't need anyone to buy me anything. And then it went from I bought all my stuff, I don't need a man to buy me anything, to I don't need no man. How do we get here?
Can we call that feminism though? Because I would say I'm a feminist, right? But obviously I disagree.
You're a first and second wave feminist. That's from what I'm hearing, you're a first and second wave feminist.
So is it a moving target then, the definition of this word?
That's what I'm trying to understand here.
It seems like, it's a moving target.
How would you define it? If you had to define it.
If to what, feminism?
Yeah.
I see it as equal rights. So just for me, it's like, that's how I look at it, straight down the middle, really. So for me, it's just like women and men, we're all equal on this planet Earth.
It shouldn't be about attacking one another.
And I don't think the conversation should really exist. In certain areas, sometimes maybe, there is maybe certain jobs or certain things that maybe actually men or women are better at.
Whoa, sexist, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, no, maybe there is though, I don't know, I don't really look at it, but it's like, yeah, so I think just down the middle for me, it's equal rights when it comes to feminism.
What are you saying? How do you define it? Yeah.
He just mentioned the first and second wave.
First and second wave were great. I think it was good for women.
Which is very close to how I was raised.
Yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Background.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I followed, that first, second wave thought of.
They go this far, no further.
Yeah,
exactly.
When you start saying you don't,
I can't believe you. I said that sarcastically, and man was like, you get this much freedom, and you will not go past this.
There's a line, you're not allowed to go past it.
And then you talk about these later waves, right? Is it elevating women or is it degrading both genders?
But how do you define it?
It's misandry.
No, but I'm saying.
How do you define it?
How do I define it?
Yeah. How do you define feminism? Like, what's your understanding of
my understanding of feminism is actually very similar to Will's, where it's equal rights for both genders.
Yeah. Okay.
Equal but different, because we are
good
different at different things.
I just think there's
celebrate the differences of
certain areas in life. I think women are going to be better.
Exactly. I think that's good.
Certain areas in life where I just physically think women are better than men. Men are probably better than women.
Yes, I agree.
Oh no, I don't know. Maybe areas such as maybe I'll say physical jobs. I say more physical jobs. Men would probably be better at than women. But more loving and caring jobs. I don't know.
Like being a mother.
I can't even
Attention to detail jobs, I'd say.
I don't know. Maybe.
That's like being a mother. Like that's a job.
Like caring
It is a job.
Unpaid job. Yeah, fair enough.
And
the reason why feminism, what would be your definition if you had to?
I see obviously men and women should be completely equal in this world, but there is areas in this world where men are probably going to be better than women and women are going to be better than men. I say, look, you say if you look at someone in the mines, you don't really see many women in the mines, do you?
You don't see anyone in the mines anymore.
Some areas in life.
The Olympics, you don't have men and women racing.
For a reason. There's jobs for men, which men are going to be, I think, better than women, and there's going to be jobs which women are better than men. Like, that's just how I see it is, yeah. But
I think it's interesting because I think that when I hear Sarah talk about they're now saying we don't need a man and stuff like that, and when we talk about equal rights, I think that people should be allowed to do what they want to do, even if I don't agree with it and that it's wrong. There's a lot of things that I see men and women doing in this day and age where I feel like we're going down a dark path, but I don't believe I should police behavior. You understand what I'm saying?
What kind of things? What kind of things? Like
if you decide that you want to go, okay, for instance, I'm not really rocking with the fact
If
that
it's making society
I'll give you an example.
fall apart.
I'll give you an example. Yeah, but if society wants to fall itself apart,
Let's hear your
it's up
example.
to society.
Yeah, what's your example?
For example, I'm not comfortable. This is one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to have kids, right? I'm not comfortable with the fact that I can go on Instagram and a 10, 12, 13-year-old can go on Instagram also and click a link in a bio. I'm not comfortable with that and get to an OnlyFans page quite easily. I'm not comfortable with that. I feel like that's society going down a path that I'm not comfortable with. I would class certain things as a sin. So even in the comment section, I would say some things that people write in the comment section, I would class it as a sin as a Christian. But God never stopped our right or our ability to be able, God gave us free choice. Even if we take that free choice and do a madness with it, we have autonomy. So if like, let's say, I feel like Sarah's view is that feminism is ruining women. If they want to ruin themselves, according to your view, that's up to them. Obviously, it's different. If I have a child in my home, as long as they live under my roof, I believe that I can police their behavior to a certain extent. For instance, you're not going to have social media because I know what is on there. But I can't control somebody else's child. I can't control, I won't say control, I can't have any influence on a woman that isn't my partner to say, I'm comfortable with you doing this or I'm not comfortable with you doing this. That's not my business. When I see people out there living the way they want to live, I just say, not for me.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
I leave it there because I think that's the only thing we can. Like, I don't want you to be confused. I think society is going down a dark path, but I don't think I get to control what people do.
So we're talking about
equal rights to me.
You were saying that it's like we're going down a dark path, and then,
in my opinion,
I feel like you're maybe alluding to the same thing here when you say that feminism is causing like the destruction of society. And now, the definition thing is important, right? Because in my mind, feminism is like the social and political movement for the equality of the sexes. And
it's got very out of hand.
And I think I know what you guys are trying to say. I think you think feminism's gone from it's gone from equal rights, which men had all this control, and then suddenly women were like, actually, we're allowed to vote. It got to that stage, and then it all got
unequal
and then
rights.
But then you're thinking, it extended to the point when women are like, I don't need men anymore. We're better than you. Is that what you think?
Yes.
Interesting.
But aren't they free to think that if they want to?
So, like, what do you think about feminism in terms of, it seems like we all agree that it was something that arose to combat a specific issue of a specific time that was necessary, right? Like, you describe it as first and second wave feminism, and then it seems like some of us feel like it's evolved into something different. Do we still need feminism? Is it done? Like, is it dead? Are we leaving it now? Or is like that something that, is there still inequality in
you have to ask
society
yourself,
between men and women?
what is it that women don't get nowadays? What don't they get?
Listen, I think in terms of is it still needed? Yes, because the reality of it is, even in corporate worlds, it's still not equal. So they still work to be done, and that's the facts. That's the reality of it. Obviously, there's different elements that we can touch upon, but
You're talking about like gender pay gaps and
pay gaps and what.
Gender pay
gaps.
women in leadership.
Gender pay gap is a myth.
I don't think it's I think it's very. I agree with him completely. I think, and I hate to say this, but I think there's some men in this world who, if a woman walks in, they'll give her less money than a man, and they're doing the same job. I think that happens.
That's just the truth.
I think so. There are some men in the world who will look at that and be like, just because this is a woman, I'm not going to pay as much. I don't think she could do a quote-unquote better job than a man. I hate that there's some people out there who think like that. But I think there is.
If we look at it like this, right? Jobs are advertised, right? So if a job says it's going to be 80K a year, both a man and a woman can apply to that job, right? So that job's 80K a year. The gender pay gap arises generally when it comes to negotiation. So what it is there's a thing called agreeableness and disagreeableness. And men are more disagreeable than women are generally. And so a man would be likely to say, oh, actually, I'm doing a little bit more hours than Simon over there. I think I should get a pay rise. And he'll go in to the boss and say, hey, mate, and he'll make a case for himself. I think that I need to be paid X. Women are less agreeable. Disagreeable than men. They're more agreeable. So they're less likely. They're less likely to even ask for the pay rise. And also, we don't take into consideration the maternity leave and stuff like that. Women are more likely to call in sick at work. They're more likely to get paid less because of that. They take more sick days than men do. So when people talk about the gender pay gap, there's so many things to be taken into consideration when you look at the world as a whole. Men are more likely to do the jobs that exist in what they call STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, which pay more. Men are more likely to do them. So the gender pay gap isn't because necessarily that, men are trying to keep women out because there's a glass ceiling. It's because women generally go into jobs that help with people, and men go into jobs that help with things.
So you're not saying it is a myth. You're saying the causality of it is different to what people think it is.
And that's why I say it's a myth, because if you go to the Scandinavian countries,
but it does exist.
But it exists for a reason. It's not. What's being said is that it exists because of men. Because men don't want to pay women.
But it's not that. Sometimes it is that.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is, right? In the Scandinavian countries, what happened is that they are the most egalitarian countries in the world, right? And so in the most egalitarian country in the world, where men can do what they want and women can do what they want, women chose to go into fields that deal with people. Men chose to go into fields that deal with the STEM.
Yeah, because they have choice.
Because you have the choice to do it. So innately, intrinsically, biologically, maybe men and women gravitate towards different things.
I need.
Sorry, go for it.
Do you acknowledge that sometimes the gender pay gap is because you can't legislate mindsets, and sometimes a woman does go in there and she's very disagreeable, but because of some misogyny, sometimes a man decides, I'm not going to give you...
Anything's possible. I'm not going to say it can't exist.
You that's the best you'll do. You won't say that it does happen. You'll say it can happen.
Of course it can happen.
But you won't say it does.
I don't know. I don't know.
Look,
I don't know every scenario.
But you know that women are being more agreeable.
Yeah, because we have the data for that. We have the data for disagreeableness and agreeableness.
How do you have the data for that?
Because you go into...
What if the man in the office came out and gave his data saying that she was more agreeable, but she wasn't? It's just that he found it easier to disagree with her because she's a woman.
That could be possible.
But you won't say that it does happen.
Of course it happens. Everything happens.